big up yourself if you're in the place. We're back at you again with something light, a little something extra until things go the way they need to go. But yeah, big up yourself. Something light, vibes in that. Episode 12. We're here. New things are coming. Like I said, the platform's changing gradually. We're making some nice changes, some little updates, and yeah, they're slowly happening. Little tweaks, new equipment, some old equipment breaking, but we move. Oh man, but yeah, no man. I hope you guys are doing good, living good. Love if you came here. Shout out to yourself if you're new, and yeah, love to everyone if you're coming back again. But yeah, nice vibes in that in the place. We got myself, Devante, nothing more, nothing less.
You know we go already. Johnny here with our Johnny in the place.
Yeah. Sugar. Let me run. But how you living, man?
Well, day, it's been a long week. Had work all weekend, try and get that extra money,
I can't lie. Well, do you know what? For myself, yeah. The weeks are moving fast for me, But it's only because, like, I'm working so much. But I'm past the point of like, I think I'm a little bit past overworking now. Like, you're doing 6-7 day weeks. The 6-7 day week work rate has added up to what I need it to for it not to be so necessary for me to work like that anymore, if that makes sense. So I'm glad I've kind of just reached that kind of like turn point where I can like kind of take my foot off the gas a little bit and, just, oh my gosh. Sorry. But yeah.
That ain't corona that you got there.
No face mask needed. But you know what? You'll never look at someone cough the same again. You know that, innit?
Every time somebody got me, I'd just make jokes about it, but realistically.
Yeah, but
it could be anything.
Well,
it could be anything.
No, we're around the corner for like flu season and that, innit? So you'll never like, it's like a whole load of like coughing and sneezing is about to like be underway, but
you know what they're gonna call it though?
They're just gonna say it's cold. It's COVID.
Cool. They're gonna say it's 19.
No, but if you're watching this right now, we're back down and it's essentially lockdown part 2.
Who?
For us.
Why am I go outside?
Oh yeah, no, I personally, like, fuck a lockdown. I wasn't complying from like the first lockdown in the summer. Like the first month of lockdown, I was out and about minding my business.
That's what I'm gonna do again. I'm gonna be out and about. I going outside. All right, I outside. They telling people that they can't have sex in their house with people from other households. So you know what people have to do? They have to fuck outside. You have to just go outside. Everything about outside. Go outside.
I don't know about that. outside piping was like, that was a second. I haven't piped nothing outside since I was in secondary school. If you pipe in your car, does it count as outside?
Yeah.
You're outside, but you're inside a vehicle.
Yeah, public place, isn't it? Under your house.
Yeah, actually, no. You can, you can get done for public indecency for having sex in your own car that you pay tax on.
Under your house, if they catch you inside the car, I don't know how they can catch you inside the car.
Listen, if I was having sex in my car, and police come tapping my window, do you think they're getting me out the car? Do you think I'm ducking? Look, stay low. Shh, don't move. Don't move. I'm just be like, we know you're in there. Don't shh. They don't know we're in there. They don't know. They can't know. They just arrived on the scene. They can't know we're in here. And the car is not moving. And I'm like, you know how a car got 2 keys?
You have a hope that they not. Hope that they not pull up and had watched the car for a good 5 minutes or see the car rock and shake.
Then that's a double problem because you've been ingesting this scene for the past 5 minutes. So now I can do you for invasion of privacy.
They won't watch the car rock and shake up, man. And then say, no, we're gonna go in, we're gonna make sure that car had a bit too much bouncing. So either somebody in there or you need MOT. But either way, something not going
I'm gonna tell you to go to my mum's, get the spare. I'll be like, Jay, I need you to go to my mum's, get the spare key in my room, yeah.
And pull up and come for the car.
And yeah, and just come for the car like you parked it there and left it there. And that's my way out. That's my way out.
100%.
And then they'll be like, excuse me. I'll be like, hold on, I'm just coming to collect my car. And then you're cutting out with me in the back, my cheeks out. I'll be like, don't worry about the smell in the car. Drive.
Just
Drive.
You better hope it's so simple, eh?
Yeah. Come on.
Yo.
Easy. That's how you do it, bro. But no, truth be told.
So what going on? Let me talk about the latest thing. The latest thing I could think of now. So they got the situation where they're talking about, like, Cardi B is a joker because she going back and forth with the man and so on. She's supposed to be done and she's still going back. They say Cardi B setting a bad example for the girls.
That's stupid because that sounds like any normal relationship to me.
That's what I was thinking, but
That's,
you know.
Don't know, but
Just let me ask you what your opinion is on it. Because it sound like the relationship star I see all the time. But
you know what it is? They have loads of like the internet, you know what it is? The internet has its own bullshit set of standards for what relationships should and shouldn't be.
say them again? What do you call them?
Bullshit standards.
Okay. That's
for what relationships should and shouldn't be.
All right.
And like some people, I don't know, because it's the internet. Sometimes when you read that little white screen with the black letters, and it's saying some left of field shit. Sometimes it's like, yeah, and you run with it. You be like, I'm gonna screenshot that, I'm gonna repost it, I'm gonna share it because I just like how that sounded. But in reality, it's like
it don't make sense.
No, in the real world, you wouldn't. I don't even know. Like, they'd just be like, if I catch so and so, god damn, just go and let that pass. I don't know. These mics are kind of wavy though. If we can hear that, the mics can hear it. You know them ones. But
that's what you get for living near the airport, you know.
Oh, in certain neighborhoods. But yes, what's the word? No, if like the memes in that, certain things that make sense in one place don't make sense in another. And it's like there's a lot of things that are funny and like humorous to run with online. Like, if I see my man, like if my man, a lot, do you know what the basic one is? Yeah, the most, without me being too creative, is if I catch my man cheating on me, he's cancelled. In the real world, he's probably not. Probably not. He's probably not. Like in the real world, he's probably not. And it's the same vice either way around. Like if you catch your girl cheating on you, depending on who knows, and how it happened, it may not be that deep. Like
they ain't really gonna do nothing about it.
Yeah. And it depends on how invested you are as well. Like it might not even be so deep that is like if you're 3 to 5 years in, let's be real. Like you're not about to throw 3 to 5 years away over a WhatsApp message or a trip to Nando's.
So it depends what kind of man you is, you know. It depends on what kind of man. Cause depending on what I see and thing, me throw him the fuck away. Me throw the whole thing. Me pitch him.
Depends. I don't.
Throw
everything. Just over. But how do you? All right, but tell me this, yeah, because there's no smoke. There's no smoke without fire, innit? Don't get me wrong. You could easily like I don't know, maybe something could be stale that the other person's not aware of, innit? And then somebody decides to step out. But it's like if you're on them kind of things where it's like, okay, you kind of fucked up in the sense like maybe she saw a ping message from Throat Goat 5. or Pizza Express sent the wet emoji with the wink and the moon face. And it's like that just kind of put like it just threw you off. It threw someone off course of it. And then they was like, you know, forget you, or do you know what it is? They weren't even gonna act on anything, and like unintentionally, but they're going about their day to day, and then someone says, "Excuse me," and they'd be like, "Do you know what? See those throat goat messages that I saw in his phone the other day? Um, I'm past it, but I'm not quite past it. I'm not all the way past it, and I think I'm going to entertain this conversation." So when you're talking like certain times, I think that's like short of just like not being rating or being interested in your partner and just going clean that, just doing dirty clean. You got circumstances like that where you can find yourself in those situations based on what the other partner caused. Like no smoke without fire, innit?
Well, you know what? To be fair, I just say that, but for me, I
Yep.
ain't gonna lie. It depends on what I see.
Everyone's different, though. But
It depends on what I see.
me as an individual, I'm a forgiving man. I know that much.
See,
I got
same.
time to forgive,
I ain't gonna
and
lie.
that's because I know
I'm a
I'm not
forgiving
perfect.
person. Like, and it'll get me vexed that I forgive for a lot. I got a lot of patience. But again, it depends on what I see. Cause certain things, if I see that, no, you can't fix nothing. You have to go. You have to go now. You have to go now.
My tolerance
You have
rate
to
is
come
high.
out.
I just ask that. Like, do you know what it is? It's different. I've got like my compassion in those circumstances is very flexible because I know I'm not perfect in it. So if I haven't been perfect in the past and you had like the strength to like give me a second chance or forgive me or give me the courtesy of like continuing what we have, like despite my shortcomings, then should you fall in a similar or the same circumstances that I fell into when and sometimes it's not even with the utmost of intentions. It's like we're just John Legend thing. We're just ordinary people. Young vocal, but you know the way is there.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's why we saying it depends on the situation and like what you could put up with. Because now, imagine now you got a girl that to do the most. Every minute she accusing you of this, or she always jealous of that, and she always stressing about this, and she always thinking there's a scenario with this, and then you come to find out that she been out there taking the most. But how we gonna get past? Me, I can't get past that. So all this time you going on with all this drama, and this is what you all here doing.
When you say do you know what it is? It's different.
Because
It's
it's the same
different.
like with guys. A lot of men can be the ones that we could put them in a situation where they're out there accusing their girl and stressing their girl out and saying you're this and I believe you're this and accusations and boom and checking her phone and boom and all the stress that them give their girl and thinking that she doing the most. And it is only because he out there doing the most. Now when you find out that that man out there doing the most, I'm not saying that you can't forgive. You might forgive me, but and me, for a situation like that, you put me through all that only to come to find out this is what you're doing to me? I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. You have a go. You have a go now. You have a go now. You have a go now. People cheat for different reasons. She could be cheating because she's a
Wow. So
you
hold on.
understand?
I didn't even realize.
He's unhappy. He's unsatisfied. He's distant. Some all kind of reasons. But boy, everybody know their reasons and limits.
Well, that's the thing.
You have to come the fuck out.
Everyone's got their boundaries. Everyone's got their capacities. Everyone's got different thresholds. Some people one text message is enough for them to give up on someone. For some people, for some girls, it's like one cheats. It's like, yeah, no, that's very ill of us.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna cut that
crazy.
out if time gives me a chance. But yes,
You know what it
it
is?
happens.
It's the favorites. Certain people got exclusive past you. Cause my phone's out do not disturb.
Oh, swear.
Yeah, but if you call and certain people call, it will ring.
Oh, throat goat. no, no calls after 10.
Bounce Warrior. Bounce Warrior 26. And I call me back after fucking 11 o'clock, you know.
Wapology. Wap Smiths. Wap Smith too. Oh my gosh. Yeah, but it's like go. But yeah. Do you know what my favorite, as I've been saying a lot lately, yeah. My favorite saying right now is I don't have to live like this.
I want serious situation.
And that's my energy. That's been my, I think maybe the past week or two,
It's,
as the work rate's been picking up and everything's been turning around. I realized you've come to realize, yeah, like, do you know what it is? You know what the circumstance it is? You see, when you're like, you know, your economic situation is in a certain kind of way, yeah, and you're grinding to get back to where you was, and so you know you budget, you know, you cut your cloth accordingly, and you, I don't know, throw another one in there. You don't bite off more than you can chew. You know, you live according to your means, and then obviously the work rate starts to pick up. You're grinding hard, keeping your head down. You're working, doing this. You're getting the shifts in. That everything starts adding up, and you know the circumstances change in it. So you realize now certain things that you were being content with, you or putting up with, you no longer have to put up with.
no, I don't gotta deal with this no more.
And then
I live in good. I live in good. I don't have to deal with this.
yeah,
I live in
straight.
good.
And like, so as things improve, there are just certain things that you say to yourself, I don't have to live like this. Like, you know, and that's I think no, I want my worst. Do you know what it is? I've been saying it so much this week, and now I can't even, I can't even remember the circumstances why I used it. Like, that I don't have to live like this. Like, I don't know. Like, just,
Yeah, what were you talking about for real, boy?
it was simple things, you know, and there was at least five. Like, at least five of them. And I was just like, yeah, I don't have to live like this.
Yeah,
I think my earliest one was
definitely the financials. When we're talking
it was
about
definitely financial
buying
stuff.
things and
Like, I was like, all right, for the simple one, I was like, okay, all right, like my current flat, like the situation switched up, the money got better, and then I started looking around at my current spot. I was looking around at the settings, and I was like, you know what? I don't have to live like this. And I got on the right move, and I found something nice, ensuite bathrooms, extra rooms, little driveway. Like, do you know what I mean?
boy, that is me, boy. The other day, I was looking at my house. I said, "Nah, fuck that. I need to get a new house. I can't live it like this."
Yeah.
that
And
was
those,
have to make sense.
as you know what it is, as people, hardworking people in life, life, like, it goes backwards, forwards, and in circles, but ultimately it moves forward, and you get to certain times and points where you're like, I don't have to live like this.
Yeah, 100%. You
I
know what?
got-
Sometimes as well, you got to remind yourself, because sometimes for some people anyway, when you working hard as well, you got to remind yourself, like, what you working hard for? Because remember, like, we got this idea, like, especially from being in the hood and young and black, we always saying, oh yeah, stack the money, make the money, stack the money. What we stacking the money for? Because certain time, like, if you get sick or you pass away or whatever, where the money go? It goes to someone else. So while you're here, you working hard, you gotta treat yourself and get on. I working hard all the hours of mankind. I come home, I don't really do much clubbing or don't really do nothing like that. Just come home, gym or something like that. So at least make sure that the place that I come home to is lit. It's a vibe.
I hear you. And you know what? That brings me on to something interesting that I was thinking about in terms of, like, for example, outgrowing the lifestyle or lifestyles you grew up in, and when it's like you hit certain, like, transitioning points, like when it's time to change. Like, as you know, in life we all go through phases, like transitions and all of those things. And it's like there's certain things, like, more say, like, when you're older. Like, for example, what was a motive at like 18 and 19, or what was life then, is maybe far removed for some people, at least, like, from what life is now. And it was like we all get to a time and point in our lives where it's just like, okay, maybe it's like, all right. Hey, the best example is when we was younger, it was like, all right, socializing was the main thing to do with your time and energy.
Yeah, we used to link up regular.
Yeah, hanging out, chilling out. But then it's like things move on a bit, and it's like, all right, socializing and, like, being, like, hanging out with the man and whatever is, like, is cool and everything, but you start to, depending on what you've got going on, you start to transition into other things, and you say, well, do you know what? I want to do something more than, I don't know, turn up every weekend, or like just do like, just do gang with the man them every weekend, and you say, all right, now I want to start, I don't know, like I want to start working towards other motives or bigger things, or and it's like, and then it's like, okay, I'm gonna take less time out socializing, because as you get older, socializing becomes, depending on how you do it, it's like, because like what, like I don't know, like West Indian style socializing is a lot, like it's not costly, it's just people and vibes.
Yeah.
It's like, do you know what I'm saying? So like at the very most, it's either you're going out to the dance, which depending on how you are can be costly depending on how you are. Not necessarily, but can be. Or you're just going to the corner shop to buy a juice, and then we're all going to someone's house or garden, like so, and we're just gonna like vibe and da. Do you know what I mean? But there becomes a point where, I don't know, like it just doesn't suit you anymore. Like you move past it. Like, because
Yeah.
I had, for example, all right, when I was younger, I used to love going out every weekend. Where's the shubs? Where we going? I don't care what part of town it's in, whose house it's in. We're gonna, them ones. I will be there. Why? Come rain or fall, I will be there. Yeah. And then it just got. I remember it got to a point where I was just like, I'm tired of this. I don't want to do this anymore. Like,
I think I'd do it for me. I think what I'd do it for me is like, also adding to the fact that like, because of how I grew up when we was in school times and the situation I had parents wise, that almost every party or every situation I was outside all the time. So when certain people weren't allowed yet because they weren't old enough or they had certain restrictions, I was out till late. I was out to all of them things. I didn't really miss nothing. I didn't have to miss nothing.
Yeah.
So by the time
I
people
had to
reach
miss a
21,
couple, I had to miss a couple things.
you understand what I'm saying? So by the time certain people reach 21, 18, maybe 19, 20, 21, and they start like going out, and now they uni life hits certain people and they're like, yo, they out everywhere because now they broke out and they get loose, as we call it in Caribbean. I done do all that already. So it weren't really a phase to me. And then what happened now, when we get to our 20s, I started doing the security thing. So now my job, I actually walk in party. I doing carnival, festivals, club. I ain't really care about going out now.
Yeah.
I've been out the whole time.
Yeah.
I seen it, I dare, I working in it. So now my sanity is just home. I want to be home. Because like even the job we do now, we're everywhere. We're out and about. We're seeing people. We're meeting people. Now, when I get a break, I don't want to see nobody, no more people. I just want to come home and be around like the actual people that you kind of deal with. But everybody got their thing. Some people think it's to, go out and unwind, hold a drink, hold a vibe. But then again, sometimes them people that it might be the opposite. Them people might be the kind of people where they work in an office space and they work in places where they don't particularly enjoy their job, because there's a whole lot of people that got jobs that they don't enjoy,
Yeah. They're out there still.
You understand what I'm saying? So then when the weekend come, they just want to do things that they do enjoy.
Yeah,
which is socialize. Socialize with their people, link up and whatever. I do a job that I enjoy, so most of the time it's even more fun that when we see our paycheck, we're like, me and you make jokes about it. But we like the job we do, we enjoy it, and it's not too exhausting because it's fun. So like you getting paid for something that you like doing. That's another thing. And then if we, this as well, so but yeah, that is my thing. I ain't really a clubbing person as such. 'Cause I don't drink, and I try and I try and show people that like when you don't drink and you don't smoke, right? The club look different in your eyes. These are sober eyes. You know what I mean? Like people over here and they wavy and it's like, yo, she looks all right still. You know what I mean? That look like a vibe.
There's things aid in the moment.
Yeah, no. I could see clearly, and when I telling you right now, I could see that she don't look good. That is a 5. That is a strong 5, 4.5, and that is with makeup. But we ain't judging nobody.
Though. You see this rain, this dark light in there.
What is that tune with Ludacris and TJ? If I take one more drink.
Yeah. Hey, and you know what it is? Everybody, I would like to imagine everybody's had a moment in life here where you keep juicing and drinking, and like the more you juice and drink,
things look different.
the thing that thing you wouldn't even have like considered starts to look more and more reasonable. Like, actually, actually, you see when she's like standing to the side, yeah, and you take like 2 shots, and you look, the shape improves. The shape improves. It goes from a no to what, I might just.
So what you saying? Talking about that, we kind of on the topic, and a man said the other day when he gotta make drastic decisions, he'd have a rock one out because he need that post nut clarity when he making certain vital
What man is
decisions.
that?
Some guy on Instagram.
I just want to know because that's not something. You know what it is.
I say you
If
need
that's how
that.
you make decisions in your day-to-day life, that's a very crazy situation to be in. So you mean to tell me you're just at work and Steve's like, look, Steve, we've got a meeting coming in.
Hi.
They need to know if we're gonna go with option A or option B.
And you have to
And you
go
just be like,
cubicle
do you
and
know
rock
what,
them out.
Steve?
Give me
Just
2
give
minutes.
me a minute on that
Give
one.
me 2.
Bathroom. Like, you can't live like that. So that can't apply to everything. I would hope
No,
that's
you can't do that.
because
You can't
you
do
be
that.
you be empty, man. You be empty. But
Some man should use that as when they're making decision makings towards girls and relationships.
I
Though,
hear that.
because
No, some people say that. They say if you're gonna see someone, or if you're like, because people, we're all humans, like we get horny at the most random times. Like they say, if you really know if you want to see that person, they say nah, and then you'll get like after the post nut clarity. If you still want to check that person, that's when you know
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you really want it. But I mean, pardon me, how many like I don't know, like so more time. You don't want nuts. Like, do you know what I mean? You only need the one. But then I guess the issue for a lot of people is it's like, like, all right, I just needed that. But now you have to deal, depending on what the situation is, now you've just got a person in your space.
yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, if you could have just turned on Pornhub and then you could have had this out the way and no one in your space, like inside 10 minutes.
But nowadays, people kind of getting more better with that kind of communication. So they just have their arrangement, and when they're not done busting, somebody have to get dressed and go home.
I understand Uber made that a lot more convenient.
You know what I mean? Bolt, and them app it. All people to drive.
Yeah.
People drive.
But as I was saying, like, changing in lifestyles, like I definitely like there was the like, you had the party animal thing, going out, you had the socializing, partying, like getting tired of that. I think most of my lifestyle changes were circumstantial. There was like there was moving out, responsibility factors. Like have when my daughter was born, that changed the game a lot. Like it was like it wasn't really about like fun and games anymore. There was also a huge element of responsibility. So I had to change the way I behaved. I had to change the way I spend, and some like there was a new budget on my roster, which is newborn. Like, do you know what I mean? Clothes, nappies, da da da. So that kind of cuts into your social P and all of them things, and then it's just like, and then you have like half the time you're like, do you know what I mean? You're now. So I was just like, and it alters your mind, and it's just like, you know what? A turn up is nice every once in a while, but actually, like I don't know, depending on how you take the parent, it's like no, family times are low key more lit. I'm predisposed. Like my default setting is I'm a family person. Like I grew up in a huge family. Like I got loads of brothers and sisters, and I got hella cousins. And even when the weekend rolled around when I was younger, I would be with friends, but at the same time I really didn't have to be. So it's like I have so much family and siblings. We don't need friends. Like we, my brothers and sisters, say this all the time. We don't actually need to. There's so many of us, and we all vibe so well. We don't actually need to have friends.
Especially when it's that like y'all vibe as well.
Yeah, like we have a lot of similar interests. Like we all bang PlayStation. We all like play Xbox. We all like roller skate, ice skate. Like we all do. We all watch anime, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto. We don't. If we don't want to, we don't have to actually fuck with other people. like we could keep this in house.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We go out drinking together,
Until
like
it's part for like like serious dating, like when it's chilling and like really just kicking back. Yeah, socializing.
yeah. So I was like, my default setting is like a family, like like along the lines of family. You know, just doing things like that definitely kind of changes the like playing field of everything, really. And yeah, that was it, really. You just didn't want to do certain things anymore because it's just like you grow and things start to make less sense. And another thing about how you like grow and move as a person is like the type of people you have around you and the directions that life is taking them in. That can like the ripple effect of what's going on in somebody else's life can also impact change in yours. And that's why I was like, say for example, if you have a group of 3 or 4 friends and everyone's life is kind of singing along to the same tune or similar tune, you know, where like we're in our we're in our I don't know, mid 20s, we're somewhere in our 20s. We're still like living at home with our parents, like minus if you like studied at uni or something, and then maybe even after uni you move back home or whatever the case is. But I'm at home with parents. You're at home with parents. We have no responsibilities beyond that. We're working. You know, we are working, and we have like excessive disposable income because maybe like either you're still at home, which is when you save most money in life anyway. The adult life is not for the faint of heart. Adulting is a serious sport. And yeah, like no, sorry, adulting is an extreme sport. Sorry, and it is not for the faint of heart. And it's just like like all of those things, and it's like okay, we're all moving along this track, right? So it's like it doesn't really like cause change unless something like drastic changes in one of that close circle's life. Like for example, a good one is back in the day when it was like, all right, you, like we was all kind of doing A, B, and C on the pavement, innit? And it was like while that was the motive, like, and I was like these times like Wiz Khalifa was just coming through, like his wave was heavy. Cheech, it was all about getting high and everything, and like and it was about getting high and grinding, yeah. And then it was like that motion in our circle at that time slowly came into a transition. You was a teetotal person anyway, so it was like it was neither there nor there to you. But it was like, okay, like all right, crown winning, A winning, and then I winning, and then it was just like, okay, it was like cool, all right, we're all like keeping things on the straight and narrow.
Crown pull some of that?
What do you mean? No. When I say went in, I mean like we was cleaning up. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't know why I'm speaking so like.
Not in code as in, but yeah. I thought you when you say went in, I thought you were speaking in code for like inhale.
No, not even that. I'm talking about like Bible studies and everything. And when everyone was like, everyone was starting to get like, because it was all turn up in games, and then like Bible studies started like catching on, and then it was just like okay,
The
like
priest.
so, like all the like that was on the full swing. Like remember, if it was a weekend, like 7 days vented vibes, if it was a Saturday, which when there was usually something to do. We
was at church.
Not only was we at church, but evening time, we wouldn't bust a motive until the sun cut. Like we was literally just chilling, waiting for the sun to go down, so we could step out in peace with peace of mind. Yeah, like what? Like we literally had the app. We were like, "What time does the sun set today? 6:30? 6:30? All right, 6:30. We're rolling out. 6:30. We're rolling out. 6:35, just to be sure. Like, do you know what I mean? After like everyone link up after Sabbath, and we're gonna go to like whatever the motive is because we've done our like religious duties for the day and like we're free to unwind now. And it was like that was a vibe and that was lit. But it was like okay, so that was like the ripple effect that happened within our group. And for 3 out of the 4 of us, that was perfectly fine. But then it was like, it got to a point where it was like, oh, you mean we're actually doing this? Like, do you know what I mean? So one of us was like, you mean we're actually doing this? And it was like, yeah, like this is like, why else would we have done, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, so it was like, you're like, some of us started to make that change. And it's like, others weren't ready to like make that change or follow that ripple effect that was happening in the group.
In full.
Yeah, in full, for whether it was better or worse. And it was just like, okay, and then do you know what it is? Like, for example, Crown today, like that's like full transition. He's fully into that role now. Do you know what I mean?
Deacon.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's stuck
baby.
to it, and he's fully in his own. That's like, that is a man of God. Like, you know what I mean? Pass the collection plate. You know what I'm saying? With me, I remember when like, and then like for me it was similar, but then I got a bit tired of it. Like, and
you was in there.
I was in there for real.
Y'all were in there. I was like, yo, y'all doing better than me. I mean, I brought y'all here, but
yeah, like, but it's just like how social changes like that, and it's just like, and changes that happen in other people's life and how it can affect yours. And it's just like, sometimes people might go in a certain direction that maybe it's not the right time. It's just you as an individual aren't ready to make those changes or moves to that, like what may or may not be a next level. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. So for example, something that changed. Yeah, it's like changes that take time and like make you grow into another person. So it's like, I would like to think that most people listening right now would be able to say, 5 years ago, I wasn't the person I am today. 10 years ago, I wasn't the person I am today. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, all of those sorts of things. Like, if you look on your Facebook memories or something like that, or some throwbacks, and look at the type of stuff you was up to, I would hope that you do not still correlate with who that person was back then in the name of growth.
Yeah, or hopefully even just the worst parts, you know what I mean? Like you probably still, when you look back on your throwbacks, you're like, yo, I was hella bubbly, I was hella partying, living that vida loca. You can still do all that, but it probably in a more mature sense. So you was probably spending what you didn't have on, flexing and enjoying the nightlife. And now you save a bit more. You still enjoy the nightlife, but you do it a bit more.
It's a bit more calculated.
Financially.
So for example, it's like I think what caused I'll speak on like what caused change in me. Like, so I was always like I always had like forward intentions for myself as an individual. However, sometimes it's the factors going on around you that help influence that change. And like more recently, like in my late 20s, is things like a lot of people, I guess at this time and point in age, it's like, okay, like small minorities of people are like married or engaged, like have families, like, and that stuff's part and parcel. It can come when it comes. We'll get to that when we get to that. But like what the more thing that was in was that I guess the waves of changes that I couldn't ignore is like my friends or people that I'm very good friends with, like they were investing in properties. And very good friends of ours were buying their first houses. Like, there's at least 3 people to like say the least. Do you know what I mean? And it was just like, oh, okay, like that's something new going on over there, and it's a change that I like.
Change
that. And and it was just it was like, I'm glad that I'm glad that I have people around me like that are making moves in that direction, because it makes me question what I'm up to, and what I can do to make steps in a forward direction for my future. Now, like, you know, like blessing that those are friends. Sometimes it's like for example, like the older sibling in a household is usually the trailblazer for the younger siblings. They kind of like, you know, hopefully anyway, set like the shut,
Yeah.
because I can't even, I like, that's what I hope, but in my personal life that wasn't the case in it. But like, you know, like the front runner in it, they just kind of make that president for, I don't know, what life can be, what you can do, like what to do and what not to do. They're kind of like the test run, and they have like, you know, the heads up for you essentially. And it was just like, okay, like, so I'm talking with like, I'm talking like, for example, like when, well, I don't know if it's relevant or not to mention people's names. I don't know. Does it matter?
Oh, whose name we mentioned?
I don't know, because
Do we speak to the person?
we do know like P, T,
Oh, yeah.
and B. I don't.
No, we
Yeah,
ain't
it's
gonna say
irrelevant
names.
because these
We ain't
are
gonna say
people's
names.
personal assets. That's like you got my people's business. But yeah, for example, like we're talking with P, and she's telling us how like, oh, like, you know, what like how to go about mortgages, what it costs, like to how she put herself in a position to
Put
get
me on
secure
game.
her own space. And it was like, oh, like, you know, I've been renting. I moved out of my mum's house. Well, let me see. My daughter's 5, so I moved out of my mum's house 5 years ago.
So all
So
that time you could have been.
yeah, so it was like that wasn't like, so yeah. Since for the last 5 years, I moved out 5 years ago. I've had one, two. I've lived in two different. I've rented two different places, and it was just like what like what she and a couple other people were putting me onto. Well, no, P put me onto the concept of like, A, investing in a home is not a myth. B, where, trust me, like that's well within our reach. Don't think it's
Yeah.
like you gotta, like that's like something that's gotta be miles away from you. And like, so it was like, oh, okay, I've got one friend that's moved in this direction, and it looks good. Like it looks like a vibe. Like I like it. And then it was like, boom. Oh yeah. T was like, oh yeah, I went and got my place
Yeah, I did
in
that too.
over here. And I was like, oh, okay. So told me like, with you getting on it, and it was like, oh, okay, so you left London because the price was like a better situation, and this, that, and the other, and it patterns up with work, and then all you had to do was save X, Y, and Z, and you was able to do that for yourself. And these are two independent women that we know that were able to like put themselves in a position to live by themselves in their own property and pay their own mortgage. Lit, like that's, seeing it is like, it's like a ripple effect. It's like, oh, I've got people around me that are doing this, and I can also make that. I can do that for myself too if I apply myself. And it's like boom. And then it was like, okay, when I was chatting with B now, he's like whenever, like he used to, again, he was someone who used to be around us more socially.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of fell back because, again, he had a change in, like, he outgrew the lifestyle, and he moved on to like, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like people grow, people change in life, and he moved on to like, I don't know, something that was better for him. And it was like when I caught up with him down the line, it was like, yeah, bro, like look, savings, like investing, like, because I'm here. Meanwhile, I'm here. For example, I'm here renting my thingy, so I'm handing out my 1,300 a month or whatever it is.
Imagine, you know.
You know what I mean? Like handing out the hours for the rent, and I'd like, it's like I'm paying off somebody else's mortgage, and then I'm paying my bills on the side. Plus, I'm chipping in on my mum's rent, like back wherever, and then I'm paying for my car and all of these different little things. And it's like, you could be, fair enough, you can afford it, but you could be using your money. Like, so I'm having these conversations with friends, and it's like, you could be using your money much more constructively.
Yeah.
And it's like, look, if you just, it was like, I remember the first thing he said to me was like, my thing is, I don't want for a lot of things. Like I don't have a lot of desires. I don't have a lot of like, when I have money, I'm not itching to spend it on anything. There's not a lot of things that I want. But the things that I do want have huge price tags.
Yeah.
So, like, clothes and fashion, not bothered. Dior couldn't care less. like Giuseppe's, blah blah, all of them things that people may like, trap star, whatever it is. I couldn't care less. Like I'm just not that individual. Fashion doesn't move me like it used to. But when it comes to tech now, like the whole when you see us at our other space, like yeah, we got two of those spaces now. Come on, forward thingies, never backwards.
His
But
house, my house, you know.
you know, that's what I'm saying. We got a studio at one house, we got a studio at the other crib. Which studio you want to go to? Life is all about options. However, it's like, yeah, it was like, boom. I put like, so I had the means. I was like tech. So I'm like, I'm gonna buy the computer. I'm gonna get the graphics card. I'm gonna get the camera. I'm gonna buy the da-da-da. And I'll pour my peas into tech, like without blinking twice. Cause it's like, it's an investment in me. I don't really care how much it costs, but cause it's something that interests me. And it's something like, we all have things that interest us. Some people have a passion for fashion. When you see, I don't know, Dior's are like 900 and odd pounds or something. Something like that. I don't know. Shoe prices done got crazy since I was a teenager. However, the most money I remember spending on fashion wise was maybe like back in the day, like True Religion jeans. Like maybe they were like what, $350 a pair. Like
Yo.
that's what I'm saying. And I had like 3 or 4 pairs, and that was in my teenage, like late teens to early 20s, maybe. Like, and I don't even like.
Nigga, I was boot cutting heavy.
Yeah,
Son.
that's what I'm saying. Like boot cut, boot cut
Heavy
mafia.
boot cutting, son.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like I was all of those things, but it was like maybe like fast. That was back then. Like Ed Hardy, them times.
I didn't like Ed Hardy though.
I bought one because of trend. Like I bought it was on trend. I think Skepta was going really hard in it at the time, and I was influenced. Everyone on ends had some Ed Hardy.
Ed Hardy is like a style that I don't like. It's like why I don't wear Christian Louboutins. Like that whole spiky study. I don't like.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know, but you know what it is. It was
but
just
there's plain ones though. I got Christian
But
Louboutin.
I mean, they're
plain
past.
ones.
Yeah. Like, I had a Christian something shirt, and it was like it was all stony and it was nice. It was. I wore it out one time, and I was like, I was
Looking like Michael Jackson.
Listen, all I know is I wore it out. I was minding my own business, and 2 gal come find me by the bar. Hello, I was in Manchester. I was and then
They should. I know what that is.
Huh? Yeah, like they was like they
I
was.
know
I don't know.
what
So
that
yes,
is,
sometimes the designer shit has its perks, but like that's if you're materialistic like that. I had a passion for fashion when I was young, and now I don't. Like I'm grown, I'm past it. But then, for example, like when I bought. All right. So anyway, I think I'm getting lost here. But so the way I would spend on tech. What else would I just lose money into? Cars. That's a vice of mine.
Yeah.
I change car maybe once every year these days. Like Christmas comes around, they're like, "What do you want for Christmas?" I'd be like, "I don't want anything from anyone. I'm buying myself a new car."
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? I'll be like, "Oh, what car do I feel like driving this year?" And I've like for as long as I've been driving, I've never had a car past maybe 2 years. Like I don't know. I just
you keep
like I change my cars regular. Like at least these days it's like, and do you know what it is? It used to be like, all right, every 2.5, 3 years. I can't even remember how long I don't think I've had a car longer than 3 years. But what's happened is over time that change gap has gotten shorter.
Oh yeah.
And shorter.
Keep fresh.
And shorter. And to the point where it's like I'm now at a point where it's like where I put my money is in my tech and in my cars and on my rent, right? And like the conversation he had with me, like I'm transitioning it now, but the conversation he had with me was like, bro, like stop putting. He was like, how much you paying for that? And I'm like, I paid blah blah blah, and he was like, you could have used that money for a deposit on your first house, or property, or like. Those like, or you could be investing in something. And then it's like, someone's having this conversation with me where I'm being like, I don't know. I'll say for now, for lack of a better word, forced to think differently. Like we had this conversation like when I bought my, like even like when I bought my grill. And then it was just like when people saw my joints and they was it was like, because again, I don't spend my money like that. So when I want to spend it, I got shit to spend.
Yeah,
Like, do you know what I mean? And people were like, oh, how much was that? And I was like, it was like,
it's changed, right?
like is if you want, this is just for the if you want the two, like, do you know what I mean? They're like a bag to
I don't even do that. I notice a lot of people like to do. I don't do that. Like people
what?
be asking, like, "Oh, Rob, how much did that cost?" I'm
You know
not
what
telling you a number.
You know
I'm
what
not
it
telling
is?
you a number.
I hear you, but do you know what it is? And I try to keep that thing. I try to keep that energy, you know. I do. Like when people say, because it's like, why do you want to know? What is the information? What is that? Sometimes I do ask myself, because people like to ask questions and they say, what I ask myself, what is that information gonna do for you?
It's a mix of them like wanting to know how much
You
how
can
far
afford.
yeah.
They want to know what's your reach.
How much did you actually pay? Like, what's your pocket like to be paying for something like that? And also, they want to know how far are they from getting it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, raw. Like, what's that? That's crazy. I ain't put in my mouth. You got put in your mouth. I have an idea what your pockets. You still don't have an idea what my pockets is like.
Yeah,
But they kind of like
you
got
kind
an
of,
idea.
but that's kind of how, I don't know. Maybe I don't know if that's a black thing or if that's a people thing. But it's kind of how you size. You kind of size. Sometimes you can size how a person's doing by what they can afford. But yeah, no. Like for example, like obviously because I change cars often. The first thing, short of like, I'm the type of person. Oh, like if you got something nice, that's nice. Maybe
Yeah.
depending on how the type of relationship I have. Like if it's you and you get something new, I'm like, oh, hey, what did you get for that? Like,
Yeah,
did you
but
get a good deal?
yeah.
Like, or was you just like, was you just ready for whatever?
Yeah,
Like,
but
do you know what I mean?
that's you as well. Like I could say to you like, all right, cool. D, it's crazy. Like the grill cost like, you know what I
X,
mean?
Y,
It
and
was
Z.
more than it was closer to I could tell you that because you know what I mean? D.
Yeah.
Like when you tell people like, all right, it costs almost to like what I got in my mind, they're like, oh, that's cool. That's great. Like, it's not the same energy. You gotta remember, like,
Yeah.
some of these people ain't the same happy for you. It's like, yo, that's loud. I would love to get that. Some people like, all right, how do you even get 10 G's anyway? That nigga lying. That nigga ain't even got 10 G's. That nigga
But
lying.
no, and you
Like,
know, it's
hate.
just like it's just to say like I forget why, but I remember I just said to myself, I was like, do you know what? When people ask how much is that, I don't even know why they need to know that, but I'm gonna stop telling them. And then I don't know. I kept it up for a little bit because it's usually I don't know. Nobody really asks for anything unless it's something substantial. The teeth, the car. It's usually high value material items.
Yeah.
That's when people
What's
want
the
to know
number?
how much it costs. You buy some new trainers, nobody cares. You buy a new shirt,
Because,
nobody
they
cares.
roughly got the idea of what them
Yeah,
trainers
because
cost.
they can fathom. But and then I never really understood what that information does for some
And as
people.
you say, you know, now that we're discussing it, it's pretty much that. They want to know how far they are from getting it and what your pockets is like. You know what I mean? But like, I had one situation where a dude said to me, like, yo, what you got there? You got like the gold with the VV? Shit, all right, that's like, and then he said the number, how much roughly each tooth is. And I was like, yeah. So he was like, well, so that means you, God damn. I was like, I was like, yeah, but he's like, if someone wants to know how much it costs, they're gonna go and find out like how much does that cost.
Yeah, and
Like a lot of people like to do like how much did you pay?
yeah,
How much like you have to get that. Don't worry about how much I got to get that. Go and find out how much it costs
It's
you
true.
to get your own
Yeah,
and get
and I
it
remember
if you
it was
need to
just
get
like,
it.
do you know what it is? You said that president in my head. It was Blade Brown. He was like said something like niggas always want to ask how much did it cost something. Don't worry yourself. Like I just tell him don't worry yourself, and it's like it's true. Why are you worried about how much it costs? Just is it nice? Appreciate
Yeah.
it. Say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Don't worry about how much I paid for it. I have it now. Like, do you know what I mean? And that's a real pocket watching isn't good. If you feel the need as an individual to ask that person, friend, cousin, family member, someone you know, how much did you pay for it? You're pocket watching, and that's not a good look.
100%.
You could easily Google check the price of everything is online. Okay, if you see someone with something, you don't need to be all in their business about it. you can check in your own time. If if it's a car and it says A5 whatever on it, you go online in your spare time, you go Auto Trader, you type A5 2015, and then you know what price it is, okay? And you mind your business. But yeah, no, pocket watching is not a good thing. You may not even know when you're doing it. And 9 times, I never used to realize when people were doing it either. Because sometimes I'll be like, you know what? I'm not telling people what I paid for certain things anymore. Oh, how much was that? Oh, it was X, Y, and Z. Sometimes it gets past me. But I try to be sometimes, but at the same time, it's like it's a double-ended thing because sometimes when people, I try to be transparent with people when they ask me, even though I don't know their motive when they're asking me. But 9 times out of 10, to be fair, when it's somebody who is asking me, it's somebody who's like of personal or a friend to me or whatever the case is. And I will I like to share, like I was very transparent with you with like moving, how much it costs to do X, Y, and Z. Anything that has cost involved.
That's me and you.
Yeah, I know.
One of the
but
things
I make it as transparent to you as possible. Like if you can do, because I want you to know it's not rocket science and you can do it too. And this is how I did it. So you fully understand how I did it, so you know how you can do it for yourself if you want to. Like how I change cars every year. I explained that to you very clearly.
That day I like to buy my car outright.
I do. I used to. But then I was like, if I got good credit, I might as well use it. If I got good credit, I might as well use it.
Yeah, true.
That's why that service is there, B.
You know what it is?
And you just give it back when you don't want it anymore.
That's true. Well,
that's it. I said I don't want the convertible.
The shit I want.
I gave the shit back.
The problem
and
with
they gave me another one.
I can't do it because
possible body.
What I want,
but it's a waste of money
and how much it costs.
Yeah,
and how not even how much it costs. The other part now, this is the last part that really makes it a no. Is what I want, how much it costs, and then how much I still want to save.
Yeah,
it won't allow me to still save. Well, I save big numbers.
Yeah,
so. It's not gonna be that same number when after I'm done paying for that.
And
that's not even mine.
I'll be so real with you. That's what's caught me out recently. I'll be real with you because I was like, okay, I'm in mortgage mode now. I'm buying my first property 3 years from today. By now in 3 years time, the target I have set myself is I will be buying my first property.
Okay.
So I've given myself 3 years to prepare my financials, prepare my savings, turbocharge my credit score, and go in there. I've made connections. Like I've got a mortgage broker. Luckily, like parent connections. I met a lady at my nursery. You know, I was like spent like her daughter's favorite daughter, like good friends with my daughter. Went out to a couple soft play thingies with that. Started talking about professional things, and then she turns out she's like, yeah, I'm a mortgage broker. You know, if you're ever looking for a mortgage, like come and see me and I'll sort you out. Amazing. Like I've made you, and you make a lot of adult and professional connections through the parenting world because people who need nursery care are usually working professionals, and nursery care isn't cheap.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like if you're, you know what I mean? If somebody who is affording nursery care does a decent amount of work to be able to afford it, because nursery fees are not a joke. Nursery fees are equivalent to your rent.
Them little babies, bro.
So you're paying rent, and I had my daughter like getting nursery full time.
Listen, ladies.
And nursery is running rival with my rent.
Don't let that broody shit fuck you up, ladies. Them little motherfuckers don't stay still. They just, it's not what it looks like. Them, especially if y'all get boys, cause y'all be like, oh, he's so cute. Like, he gonna stress you out. That little baby boy gonna stress you out. Be careful what you ask for now.
But yeah, like, where was I going with this? But just in terms of like, so again, it was like these conversations that I was having were like broadening my perspective of what I could be up to, and what I could be doing with my money instead of, I don't know, getting a new car every year, spending X amount of money on like material things like, I don't know, gold teeth, and I'll never cap. The thing is, I'm gonna buy them back. Buy some more.
You know what?
I know I'm gonna buy some more.
You know what?
Because
I
had
to say this while we're on the subject. That's one of the stupidest things to spend money on,
What?
like teeth.
It's not.
Yeah.
Well,
No, because in a sense,
it
like
is.
somebody
But
could say, "Oh
diamonds and
yeah,
gold.
because you go, you know, you like you could have invested it in this." You're 100% right, but here what? I don't regret it. There's a lot of things I've spent money on, and I look back, I'm like, why did I buy that? There's not a time I've ever looked at my teeth and said, I like teeth. Because people will say that about teeth.
What's for you is
but
for
you
you.
have to remember, people spend grands on tattoos
Do you know?
and clothes.
Yeah.
You know, so
No return
But
value.
yeah, I ain't even regret it. Because sometimes you have to know you. A lot of people might say something and then you know in your heart whatever you feel, but I don't regret it. I feel like it was a good decision. I feel like I'm even gonna go back and add more. You know what I mean?
But yeah, no, and it's just like these are the things that like having the right conversations, even if you're not like ready to make that move, because it's like someone has to be a trailblazer, like someone has to set pace. So, like I said, I think P set pace. P, do you know what? I know I can't
Him
lie.
come
No,
through
no,
with
no.
it.
Pace long before anyone.
Yeah, I feel
Because
you
I
been-
remember like we was in college, and them times it's like did I say government?
Yeah,
I did.
it's kinda
All right,
slide over.
I'll take that out. But but it was like B set pace. I remember we was in college, and my man he already had a credit card. He had a credit card them times. He had at least 4 bank accounts. Like he was onto something back then that
But
most
you know
man.
the other thing as well is like having people around you to teach you that.
Yeah.
Like he had to come through, show us a couple things. Like I like as sometimes I look and like bless their heart as family. Like what you don't know you can't teach. But it's like all these men and aunties and uncles in my like relatives that I had around. None of y'all taught me this. Like did none of you know this? Cause nobody ain't tell me
You
this.
know what the truth is, yeah. The way things are is like the elders probably didn't know themselves.
Yeah, I believe so.
I grew up as you grow up and you realize it's like look, all they didn't know themselves. Like they weren't. All they knew was how to. Do you know what they were? They were savers. That like whatever the elder generations were before us, aunties, uncles, grandparents, whatever. They weren't investors. They were savers. That's what they knew how to do. Nan knew how to keep 2 grand under the bed
Under the bed.
in the house.
Your partner hand they call them. Caribbean partner
the
hand.
partner, like they weren't investors, they were savers. Do you know what I mean? Like and like the partner, the group sharing thing, and that was their thing. So they could teach you how to save some coins, and saving is just as important as but and then it's like the next level to that is when you learn how to save, invest what you save
Yeah, you gotta make that flip.
and save what you invest. So you like kind of thing. And that's like, but it's like that. No one around me. And to be fair, they tried to teach us in college. They made us get like the 1-to-1 or something like that. This like one of them trading platform apps. And like so I remember they did in business school in college, they did try and give us those incentives. But no one stuck to it. And it wasn't until like so again it's like the ripple effects of what you see and the things that like jumpstart your mind. I remember when I was like I've gone to uni now, and I'm obviously in uni you're in there with everyone in it, and I was sitting next to this Asian boy, and like he was just not in the class. Like he was there right there with me, but his head was down there just doing something. And I was like, his English wasn't all that great, but like I was cool with him, and I'd always like, what did the teacher say? And I was like, oh, she explained like this, that. I was like, oh, cool. But and like the ones what like he didn't even use his phone in the English language. His phone was in his language, but he was always doing the mobile trading thing, the stocks and watching it, and I was like, what you got going on over there? Because every lesson we have, you're in this phone doing something, and I can see the zigzags and the red and the green and the buying. I don't know what you're doing, but I know it's like that something adjacent to that. And he was like, it's the stock market. I trade in the Chinese stock market, and I was like, okay. So all right, like this is a new concept to me. Like, but go on, I'm listening, and I was like, you talked about it in passing, and he was just like, but the thing is, it's just like you have to watch it like consistently. Like you don't, you got to keep your eye on the ball, which is, and sometimes you don't really get to sleep much because changes happen all the time.
Yeah.
So and I was like, how much have you made from that? But it was all in yen.
Yeah.
So he showed me the number, and it was like the number just went on and on and on,
Yeah.
and I was like, what is that in pounds? And then he converted it and he was like, he had about 26 grand, like, that he had, like, developed from doing that. Like, goes up, like, it fluctuates and whatever, but he was like, overall, he had about 26K floating in there that he had built up from investing in shares and buying and selling and whatever. And I was like, you're sitting in this class here with me.
Yeah.
I was like, no wonder this module seems like bullshit to you and you'd rather stare at your phone.
In a sense, but you know what it is? It's a couple of things that, like, some kids, they got this gift where they might sit there and you see him like he's in his phone, but trust me, he's still gonna bad up that exam somehow.
Yeah,
He's still gonna pass.
but,
So he's still
and
gonna,
I don't doubt that.
it's not
Because
like, you know what I mean, not so much bullshit for him, but he's concentrating on that. And it's like the same other thing, the reason why me and you go work, because we're doing that, getting that money, but also investing in this, trying to get this money.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he's like, yo, I'm gonna do this uni thing. I need this degree. I'm gonna fuck these stocks up, nigga.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get that yen, baby. Don't get twisted.
And that's when I was just like, so that's like, and but even then, it was like, it was a drop that was a ripple effect, but it still didn't push my mind far enough in that to say,
Couple
I
people-
need to get into that now.
A couple people have brought it to me, but I'm not gonna lie. I left it because I'm not so much of a sit down computer kind of person like that. So I was
Yeah.
like, it wouldn't be as much as there's opportunity in, we could say, banking, investing,
I
and
know.
all kind of other things. There's certain things that, like, I wouldn't get it from that because that's not me. I couldn't do that.
No,
I can't do that. So I'm not gonna sit there watch no phone with no stocks.
See,
I can't
now,
do
I
that.
full well know I don't have time for any of that.
No.
But what I do have time for is to save the money and to hire down the line to hire the right person.
100%. Oh, yeah.
Because
I watch these
like,
trades.
but
man.
now that my mind has grown to a place where it's like future investments is a real thing. Like, do you know what? When I had like you learn life and you eat humble pie. Like when I was having my first daughter, like I was mad that I wasn't in the position I wanted to be to send her to private school. Like I was like, yeah, like where I can, I want to give my kids the best, and where I can afford it, I want to send them to private school. I'm looking at the private school fees and how much it cost and everything, and I was like,
It's paper.
it's not Mission Impossible.
Okay.
You can give your child a private education, but the cash flow has to be consistent.
Yeah.
And it's like it's not, yeah, it's one of them ones. It's like saving for a mortgage. It's not impossible, but you have to apply yourself. But it helps if you're just already in the type of position where you can afford to do that. It's like if I was to send my daughter to private school, I would be grafting to keep her in private school.
Oh, yeah,
it
I
wouldn't
see
be a
what you
case of me affording private school.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so it was like I said to myself, well, do you know what? All right, I've only just come to this information and understanding now. But what I'm going to do is prepare myself for the future so that my grandchildren can go to private school. That's the best that I can do right now.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I only just got this understanding now. And my predecessors before me, my mom, my grandparents, they like, all right, they've done their leg race, but they've done the best that they can. And I was just like, but they didn't have this understanding that I've only just found out in my mid to late 20s that I can apply for the future.
100%.
So now that I know, like when you find out these sort of things and get these understandings and these people influence changing you and cause these ripples that cause your mind to expand and start thinking about broader horizons, it's like it influences change for the future. And it's those things that change tomorrow. So it's like, okay, fair enough. I didn't know what private school cost until I wanted it for my daughter. Little did I know despite how much I was earning at the time, I couldn't afford it. So I was like, all right, it is what it is. Like public school, just like myself. Like, do you know what I mean? However, like, um, I want I want this stuff to improve generationally. So I was like, all right, for the next generation, I definitely want to have a situation set up where I can afford for my grandkids to have that one step further. Do you get what I mean? Like, so that's like put that in my mind now. That's on my motives. Like that's on my ambitions. That's on part of my determination. So as I go forward and I build myself up and I start investing and I start putting like my savings in the right place to work harder, that is all in aid of benefiting the like I guess the future of my family where I fell short as a young man. But it's just experiencing not being able to afford private school for my daughter has now given me that incentive alongside the other encouragements from friends like sorry, T. But do you get what I mean?
And
All
even
those
M as
people
well.
around me, yeah.
Even M as well step the game. Well, we're gonna cut it with y'all, cause you know me and Devante got shift in the morning, so we can't give y'all too much.
I low key do.
Low
But
key.
again, like I just wanted to, you know what it is. It's vibes in that. We're here to inform just as much as we are here to entertain.
As
And
always.
yeah, I just wanted to bring it to you like that. Something like part two. Um, Sugar. We're in the keen months of October. So big up to
Halloween soon coming.
yourself. Sugar. Black History Month.
Yeah, how about that?
I'm
I
gonna
don't
try
know what
work
kind of
out
history they
something with
man.
Leanne soon. But anyway, I hope you're enjoying your Black History Month. I hope you're doing insightful things. It's a month to be proud. It's a month of a lot of change. There's a lot of like movement behind what it means to be black, like there always has been, but now greater than before than ever. So be whatever part of that change you need to be. Go forward every day and indulge and engage in your black excellence. Let people know that like what it means to be black and just be unapologetic in every day you move and step with your life in your blackness. And with that, I leave you. And yeah, peace,
Blessings.
vibes,
Love.
and all those other things.
Always.
This is episode 12. You've been with myself, Devante.
And Johnny.
Come on, vibes and that.
Always.
Love.